Hello and welcome to the channel, it's Erad, and what a day we have. Apparently, we've got, of course, Inside Star Citizen, which people have told me is a good one. And we've got, and I just read that on X, so that's new here, we've got a letter from the chairman as well, which is worth reading. It's always worth reading. So we are going to react to that one as well. Let's go, let's get started. Let's have a look at what Jared has to say. Today is an episode about the character customization.
Anticipated aspects of the upcoming Alpha 323 has to be the persistent universe arrival of our new character customizer, enabling better representation and a true sense of ownership over your individual avatar universe.
Yes, we need that. The character customization right now is one of the oldest features in Star Citizen. It's also one of the worst, let's just say, all right? It needs more functionalities. The characters, they don't look so great. They are very limited, and so that's why this update was much needed.
And to share with you the various ins and outs of what's ahead, let's throw it now to just a few folks standing in front of the massive team that made all of this possible.
The reality of
Sean Tracy, I love Sean Tracy. He's awesome, and he plays Arena Commander sometimes, so I like that too. I've beaten Sean Tracy in Arena Commander, by the way.
character creator is that the old character creator could walk so that this one could run.
The original mandate was, let's just get the PU customizer working in Squadron with building blocks instead of Flash.
Yeah, it's just basically a placeholder. That's what they're saying, right? It makes totally sense. And now Squadron 42's future complete, so we're gonna get the real one.
It was very bare bones. We hadn't had a lot of progress on it.
We had no design.
And by the way, a big shout out to the community who was able to create a lot of amazing characters for the Machinimas, for example. It's so hard, right, to create something that resembles sometimes a real actor or a real content creator, but we've been able to do that somehow. But with the new customizer, the new character customizer, it's people are gonna make a lot of people, right? I'm gonna make DG360. I'm gonna make Salty Mine, Space Tomato, all of these guys. You know, I'll make them.
Design. We had no designer or anyone else working on the project except me.
Basically, the task was make it look pretty.
The very first underpinnings of the character creator actually still exist. It's our DNA system.
In the old one,
so
you
it's
could
still going to be
only
there.
blend between the different faces. Also, you could only blend from one face to another at a time.
The character customizer for Star Citizen is so important because players get ownership over their character. They're not
Yes,
just
right. It's our avatar in the game. That's how people are going to be seeing us in the game as well. That's how we present ourselves when we don't have our armor and our helmets.
Some player character that some artist has created, but they're representing themselves. We want the player to be able to represent themselves in the world and the universe that is Star Citizen.
Oh, dramatic intro here. Are we going to really be able to remove our helmets like that? That would be awesome if we could do that.
So the character customizer that's coming into Star Citizen in 323 is broken down into 4 main sections.
The first section of the character creator.
By the way, a little constructive criticism here. Body types, why do we only have 2? You know, I'm not a very tall person, quite the opposite actually. Those who have met me in real life would know that. Why do I have to be that tall as well? If I want to have a short male character, you know, just 5'5", you know, that kind of size. Why can't I do that too? You know, we should be able to adjust our size. And also, not everybody is all jacked, right? There are some people who are more round, to put it that way. Maybe they want to represent themselves as well. And why can't we do that? You know, even in Star Wars, some characters, you know, like Porkins, for example, the Star Wars Rebel pilot in episode 4, well, is not really the fittest of characters, right? We should be able to have that in Star Citizen as well.
There is the DNA system, and that's where the player actually interacts with the blending and the shape of the actual head itself.
It's still the same
But it looks like on the face, but the body is all jacked, so it's not very realistic.
DNA system in terms of when we apply it to the characters. The difference is how we interact with that DNA system. So we've introduced face sculpting.
Oh, that is fantastic. Like, you are really going to be able to do whatever you want.
Thing. So you can just grab these nodes on the face of the character that you have and shape it as you see fit.
What face sculpting allows us to do is, instead of saying, I want a certain proportion of a certain head, it allows us to say, I want to pull this vertex to this position.
Yeah, we are going to be able to create whatever we want.
What proportions of different heads is required to get that vertex into that position.
The system is very, very cool, as behind the scenes, we can't just adjust the face into certain shapes and be happy with it. We have to also change the rig. We also have to change the corrective blend shapes.
But we've also kept the original.
And all of those corrections are being made in real time in the game so that you create the character you want.
Or
This is
DNA
awesome.
blending as well, but we've tried to improve the user experience of that as much as possible.
Now you have a full list of heads at your disposal, so you can see all the heads available, and you can tweak, you can take a bit of the nose from that face, you can take the eyes from that face.
That's the DNA system that we have right now. It doesn't
It's
change
quick
that
to
much.
use.
Yeah, so the PU is very modern, sleek looking look. We're trying to go for like the almost like the Apple Vision Pro look. But yeah, it's very modern compared to your Squadron, and it's a lot more in date, I guess you could say.
Basically trying to reduce the number of mouse clicks it takes to get what you're looking for.
So
Good. So they want us to be more effective.
One of the other things that you can do in the DNA section is the skin tone adjustment, as well as
Wow, so you have the entire range, right? I think it's not white enough. There are some people who are even whiter than that, like they never see the sun. And vice versa here. This is not black enough, right? You know, some people, I would say maybe they're from Congo or not necessarily Benin. Yeah, I would say Congo is really the darkest skin tones, right? Or Sudan, maybe, right? Maybe they would be even darker than this. So they could have gone the extra mile also on both ends of the spectrum.
as the skin material or the skin texture itself. So what you can do within this is you can actually skin tone adjust this into realistic shades of certain skin tones to better represent yourself.
Your freckles, and we have some blemishes on there.
And these represent actual
very-
scans of
it
people
look
that
very,
we've done
very
throughout
Celt.
the course of the years, and we've actually scanned a whole bunch more that we will be adding to the pool as time goes on.
But we are always making that pool larger.
This is insane. Look at that, the freckles, the sunspot. That is, and different skin texture too. This is so detailed.
So the faces are always going to look better and better and have more variations in them.
I wish that there were a few more hairstyles though.
So the next big aspect is hair.
Within
there,
the
we're
hair
gonna talk
section,
about
there's
hair.
a whole bunch of new hairstyles, which is
Well, right now, these hairstyles, we already have them in the verse.
obviously the first and most important thing. One of the interesting things, and the teams I represent worked really, really hard on this to have some hair simulation onto it.
Yes,
so you
Star
can see the
hair
move
coming to
around
Star
as
Citizen. It's
you're,
already
even
there.
selecting it, and then as you add it onto the character, you can see it move around even more.
But better than that, you now also have a massive library of beards and
Yes!
facial hair.
Oh, nice. Very nicely trimmed beards, by the way.
Eyebrows as well.
Yes, there we go. Biggs for my Star Citizen Wars machinima, where I'm reproducing Star Wars and Star Citizen. We're gonna have Biggs Darklighter with this mustache. That's awesome, guys. By the way, if you want to support the channel, I'll put the referral code up there, right here, and you can get up to 5,000 credits in game. If you don't have Star Citizen yet, but you want to get it, well, that's going to be really helpful to get some armor and other weapons, maybe with that amount of money. And so that's also a good way to help a content creator that you like.
Well, so you can mix
use
and
the
match
code
to
when
get
you register to Star
exactly what
Citizen.
you're after.
I like that too. I like those huge sideburns here. We're gonna make Lenny here. Those of you who know who Lenny was, Rest in peace, Lenny. We're gonna make him in the game too.
Instead of what we had
Yes, and also Hulk Hogan.
before, where you could cycle through hairs,
And Jared 2017.
you could cycle through hair colors. You now have a massive library of all the hairs.
Whereas in the previous character customizer, we just had a bunch of preset material variants. For the new character customizer, we want
hope
to
they
give
have
the
the
player
soul
the power
patch
to go
for
in and actually edit those
DG360.
materials.
What's even cooler about this now is though we had the hair selections before, you could never tint it. You could never come up with your own color set.
We can go in and we can change the
Yeah, that is insane. They are like every color
natural
possible.
color of the hair. We
Oh, I see. So it starts with those colors and then you have the dye. So you're not going to be starting off the root of your hair with those crazy colors here.
can change the dye amount.
But
Although
we
the
also
root
have the
too.
new gradient system where you can
can
choose
dye
to
the
have
roots.
one dye color for the roots of your hair, another dye color for
Okay, this is new. This hairstyle here. Okay, they are bringing new
the tips of
hairstyles.
your
Okay.
hair. And then you can set where the gradient changes.
Not only do we have like a blonde hair, but then we have a purple highlight
Wow.
that's done at the end or done at the top. And that's all player configurable.
We're going to see a lot of crazy hairstyles in the verse.
So not only do you have a whole bunch of different hairstyles to choose from, but you've got the full color gamut as well.
And all of that is brand new functionality that we've added to a character customizer so we can update the shader params on the
I
hair.
wonder how. I have a little concern here with the beards. Those huge beards. How are they going to make them fit in the armor? Are they going to be using the star hair technology to do that?
In real time.
So my favorite aspect of the new facial hairstyles is the variety. We have a large library for being the first version of this, and it's going to grow even more
I kind of have the DG soul pad. That's how DG is going to look like.
within the coming years.
And as we've begun to include
Okay, they have like the new hairs here. You can see them. Okay.
more culturally diverse hairstyles in 3.23, the team is working on more that will be seen in the patches to come.
So the third major aspect of the new character customizer is styling.
The make
By the way, those hairstyles, the curly, short, they're not cultural. They're genetic types of hairstyle. You can have this kind of hairstyle and be part of many different cultures. So that's actually a wrong choice of words
Cup is
here.
another completely new feature for the new character customizer.
You'll be able to pick your makeup for eyes
We're going to
cheeks.
have drag queens in Star Citizen. Yay!
and your lips.
We actually used to have makeup baked into the textures where we had already pre-selected eyeliners and all these kind of things to represent what that given skin tone was. But we wanted the player to make that choice. We wanted the player to have
Good.
access to all the different gamuts of colors, all the different specular reactions, all the different highlights that they may want to do for their character.
For each of these, you will have some base versions that you can pick from, but you can also go in and tweak these on a deeper level. You can set the opacity, you can set different colors you can have one color for the eyeliner, one for the
Oh my
eyeshadow.
gosh, that is really extreme. Oh boy.
Like for hair, we can set certain colors and parameters on the makeup, so that's like how glossy it is and the
Oh, yeah, that's
opacity of the
very
makeup.
glossy, yeah.
Unlike for hair, we actually set the shape of the makeup as
Oh
well.
my
And the way
gosh.
that we do that is we're basically adding new textures to the skin material on the players. And again, we update all of that in real time, and that is also quite similar to the new freckles and sunspots.
Hey,
how
you
they
know,
work.
I'm
That's
all
again
for
another
giving
texture
freedom
that
and
we've
liberty here
added
to
to the player
players. That's
character's
okay.
skin, and then we can tweak these parameters on the shader in real time to show more or less freckles or more or less sunspots.
So when it comes to the different styles and what you can achieve in the character customizer, it's been a constant push and pull of making it look really good, really realistic, and letting people just do what they want. And we've been trying to keep it as realistic as possible, but still letting people do exactly what they want with it, because we're leaving so much power in the hands of the players. They can tweak all these different colors and all of their different.
the beard
on their
has a
hair, their
different
facial
color
hair,
than
their
the-
eyebrows, as
than the
well
hair.
as these different makeup sections, and it can get pretty zany.
So the makeup itself is actually a fairly complex feature behind the hood. But in the end,
Yeah,
I
because they're going to play with the shaders here.
think it actually presents as a pretty fun interaction to changing up the skin tone and, again, representing yourself within the world of Star Citizen.
Like this.
So the fourth main feature is all the additional functionality. We'll have
They
a
showed this
review
character
page where
before,
you can
by the
see
way,
your
the
character.
This is when
purple
you're
hair,
actually taking a look at your character as a
handlebar
whole, from
guy.
the toes all the way to the top of the head.
Another part of the core functionality of this is the randomization. So now we allow players to both randomize the whole thing, so you get a totally new look, so you get a good canvas to start off of.
So it's totally random, those faces. Okay.
Now, one of the really fun things about the character creator, and I didn't mention at CitizenCon and definitely should have, is that we do have the save and load functionality.
Yes! 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 So that means that with every patch, we are going to be able to keep our characters? That what that means? And we're going to be able to make multiple characters for machinimas? That what that means?
Finally within the character creators.
So you'll be able to export your character onto your PC
Oh,
and find that file,
finally.
send it to your friend, and they can import that into their game and see that character on their machine.
So no longer will you have to worry about a reset or anything. You can save
Yes.
your character, you can reload it.
You can not only save your character to persistence and get it to load into a PU, but you can save a bunch of characters that you can then just load in at any time into the character customizer. And you can also send these to other players that they can then load in your custom-made characters as well. And this is the exact same tool that we're using internally at CIG to create NPCs that we're rolling out to all
Nice.
players. And
I'm so happy they're giving the same tools to the players. They're for the players, that the tools that they have for the developers. That's really
323.
good.
And I'd like to take this very rare opportunity to ask you guys and to challenge you guys to make a version of Jared.
Yes! Hey Parker, how's it going? Are you going to make a version of Jared? I totally will.
And share it with the community and with us so that we can see how close you've gotten. And if there's one I really like, maybe I'll do something pretty terrible with it.
Oh no, you need to get. We need to have some rewards. We need Alpha UEC, LTA.
What I'm really
ships.
hoping to see is a hyper-realistic Chris Perry that someone could send to me for reasons.
Okay, we'll do a Chris then. No, that's not a very good Jared here. That's too old.
So that's what's coming in 323. But in the future, we'll also be adding tattoos, piercings, stubble,
Meh.
and more eye settings.
Nah, that's
you're gonna
okay.
be able
I'm
to
not
do
into
even
tattoos. I don't
more
like tattoos, to be
customization
frank,
at that
so
point.
that's fine. I'll
So
pass on
this is a major
tattoos.
milestone for Star Citizen because finally the presentation is exactly at a state that we wanted.
That's
So
good.
many different teams have been involved in this, from lighting to environments to feature teams to tech art to tech animation to animation programming. Everyone has seen this,
Yeah, 'cause
has
that's
been
really
involved
important
in
from the
this,
start
and it's
here,
gone
the
all the
animation.
way up through the chain, through to executive approval. So it's finally to a state where Chris has actually been happy with it. And
So I really wish sometimes, I wish I was like a little mouse, watching what's happening in Chris's office and watch Chris get angry or happy about whatever feature is getting ready or not, right?
that we could release it to the community.
Yes, the legacy placeholder systems
Really
will
happy
be gone,
we put a
Parker.
lot of
Absolutely.
time and effort into getting it to where we want it to be today, so it's come a long way. Particularly happy with like how it's just easy to use and you can basically go from like scratch and just completely start from a
Yeah, I think that with this character, we are really going to be able to create whoever we want.
clean slate and just create whatever you
I
want.
don't see
really.
any limitations here
You're
with
going to be
this
able to
character
express
customizer.
yourself with your characters so much more than before. And you're going to be able to see everyone in the verse really being themselves or whoever they want to be out
Some
there.
people will.
I-
I'll be for my Star Citizen Wars Machinima. I'll be Han Solo or Luke Skywalker
I
or
think that we have
the
made
Emperor,
one of
maybe,
the
whatever.
strongest character customizers
That's really
that's
good.
out there
It's good
at
stuff.
this point, and we are very proud of this.
Yeah, he's right. That is definitely. I do believe this is maybe the best character customizer in the whole gaming industry right now. Yes, I did. I did talk about it, right? Everybody being the same height. That's not okay. They need to fix that. not everybody should be the same height, and not everybody should be the same weight. But I think that right now the reason why it's not possible is because of the size of the armor, right? The armors need to fit the characters, but it's not somewhere where it's not where we are right now, and I don't know if they are going to be making the effort of doing those changes.
So, what did we learn this week?
Well, we learned that we are going to have amazing characters. All right, apparently, and I cannot wait to check this out, guys.